Excellence is a good thing until it starts to define you. I thought I was just doing my best for God, but somewhere along the way, I started worshipping the work more than the one I was working for. Hey, I'm Patrick Chambers and welcome to Divine Audio Solutions. I've spent over a decade in church production, mixing sound, leading teams and building systems. Excellence has always mattered to me. I've always wanted things to run smoothly, to sound amazing and to feel professional. Done with the right heart, it can absolutely glorify God. But somewhere along the way, I started noticing a shift. My mixes were the best they'd ever been. We were consistently hitting cues, and I was starting to hear more positive feedback from both the congregation and leadership. But something felt off. I was walking away from Sundays more frustrated than fulfilled. I was showing up early, staying late, giving everything I had, and still not feeling like it was enough. It wasn't until I stepped back and looked at what was going on that I realized I had made an idol out of excellence. Today I want to share what that looked like for me, how it showed up, and how I've started to shift my heart back to a place of worship. God values excellence. Colossians 3:23 says, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord." But what happens when giving our best becomes needing to be the best? When excellence becomes more about performance than presence? When every mistake feels personal? When you leave a Sunday service not thinking about what God did, but replaying every miscue and imperfect transition? That's when excellence crosses a line. We don't always recognize when we've crossed that line. It usually sneaks in. It disguises itself as passion. It looks like diligence. But underneath, there's a shift in where our worth is coming from. And the problem is, it can look really spiritual on the outside. People may compliment your dedication, your attention to detail, your drive. But internally, you may be carrying something heavy, something that's more like pressure than joy. There was a season when I would re-watch the live stream every Sunday, sometimes even on the drive home. I wasn't looking to celebrate what went well. I was analysing, critiquing, obsessing. I'd lie awake at night thinking about small mix issues. I'd get unreasonably frustrated over details no one else even noticed. And I'd mask it all by saying, I just want to do things well for God. But if I'm honest, it wasn't about God. It was about control, about fear of failure, about tying my worth to the final product. I had to ask myself a hard question. Who am I doing this for? And here's the kicker. There were moments where everything did go well, and I still felt empty. That's when I knew this wasn't about excellence anymore. Have you ever crossed that line where the drive for excellence started affecting your peace, your identity, or your connection with God? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear how you've navigated it. Here are a few of the signs I've noticed in myself and in others. You feel anxious when something small goes wrong. You leave a technically smooth service and still feel disappointed. You replay your work constantly. You feel unseen without acknowledgement. You focus more on execution than encounter. Maybe you've heard, no one notices the tech team unless something goes wrong. That's tough. When you serve well, it can feel like the only measure of success is silence. And silence rarely feels satisfying. And when you're constantly focused on avoiding mistakes or outdoing last week's mix, it's difficult to stay present in worship. Another sign, when compliments don't feel like encouragement, they feel like validation. When you need the feedback to feel like you did your job well, that's a slippery slope. These aren't just surface level struggles. They're symptoms of a deeper question. Do I believe my worth comes from what I produce? Excellence is beautiful, helpful, even necessary, but it's not your identity. It's like gardening. You prepare the soil, you plant with care, you water and pull weeds. But you don't make anything grow. Only God does. We can prepare the space, but only God transforms heart. I've had to learn that God isn't grading my Sundays. He's looking at my heart. He's not keeping track of flawless mixes. He's watching how I treat people, how I stay surrendered, how I abide in Him. This isn't a call to lower the bar. It's a call to realign your heart. Before each service, I ask, why am I doing this? Who is it for? I pray over my gear. I speak encouragement over my team. I make space for worship outside of production because I need to be more than just a skilled tech. I need to be a worshiper. And maybe most importantly, I've practiced letting go, letting others lead, letting mistakes happen, letting the Spirit move, even when it's not polished, even when it's not perfect. One of the most freeing things I've learned is that I'm allowed to serve from rest, not just push through exhaustion. That I don't need to be on all the time to be faithful. That excellence done with a surrendered heart is very different than excellence done from a place of striving. I'm still learning this. I still catch myself slipping into performance mode. But now I'm quicker to pause, to pray, and to come back to the reason I started this in the first place. To help people encounter Jesus. And I think that's the invitation for all of us. To lay down the pressure and pick up peace. To exchange perfection for presence. To trust that God can move even when the mix isn't perfect. If you've ever walked off a Sunday feeling like you nailed the mix but missed the moment, you're not alone. God isn't asking for performance. He's inviting you into presence. Let's keep giving our best, but never forget who it's for. If this resonated with you, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. And if someone you know is carrying the same weight, maybe a teammate, a friend, or someone on your crew, share this with them. Make sure to subscribe if you want to keep leaning into conversations like this. This is just the beginning. We're not what we do, we're who God says we are. Let's keep growing together.